Perfect. So as you are aware, we are celebrating 100 years since the 19th Amendment has passed, and that is, the 19th Amendment is what gave women in the United States the right to vote. So we're going to learn a little bit about that today and get started on the rest of this series. All right. So what is suffrage? Simply, suffrage is the right to vote. Included in that, it provides each individual the ability to have a say in their government. So the ability to help decide what laws are passed, who is our representatives in the government, and it also lets you run for political office. So why is suffrage important? So it's important to have a say in who represents you in the government and your needs. Democracy is dependent on everybody having an equal say and in passing new laws. We have lots of different elections. We often hear about the president and the presidential election, but we also have local elections in your town or your neighborhood, your city, your state, and there are a lot of different offices that are determined by an election, from judges and the sheriff and many other local positions that determine our day-to-day life, as well as state and national elections, which affect the entire country. Another thing, one of the rights that we have in the United States is if you get in trouble with the law, which I know none of you will, you have the right to a jury of your peers. Something that was a problem in the past is if the jury doesn't look like you, they tend to treat you different than they would themselves. So having a jury of your peers helps make sure that we have fair treatment under the law. And it's your full citizenship. So you're a citizen of this country, you have the right to vote. So women's suffrage in the United States began in July of 1848 with the Seneca Falls Convention, which was the first women's rights convention in the United States. They produced a list of demands that they called the Declaration of Sentiments. Many of these sentiments called for equal opportunity for education and in jobs for women, the right for women to control their own property, and the right to vote. We fast forward to the 19th Amendment. Senate passed the proposed amendment on June 4th, 1919. And in order to pass an amendment to the Constitution, 3/4 of the states need to pass that amendment. And it took a little bit over a year for 36 states to pass the amendment for women to be able to vote. Tennessee was the last state required. And then on August 18th, 1920, the 19th Amendment was ratified, which means that it is officially in effect for the whole country. So the 19th Amendment states, whoops, that you cannot, that all people have the right to vote, no matter if they're a man or a woman. So we can vote. What does that mean now? So what did suffrage mean to the average woman? It meant that they had a say in their home and in their local town. They were able to determine for themselves how they felt about what the government should be doing. And then how has this changed? Since women have been able to vote, it has really changed how the demographic or the makeup of who is voting. And so that has determined a lot of laws that have been passed in the last 100 years. And so now we have the right to vote, and it is our responsibility to make our voice heard. And as Girl Scouts, we know how important it is to stand up and use your voice. So there has been a lot of different laws that have passed that are good for women and for all people. I've listed a few here. We're not going to talk about all of them, but, whoops, I clicked too soon. There's, just one second. There we go. So from equal pay and equal access to education, to the right to determine our own health care and the rights to have any job that we want. This has all been made possible because we have been able to vote. And then I've included some additional reading for older girls that are interested. This is a little bit more advanced, and I know there's a lot of younger Girl Scouts on, so we won't focus too much on here. And then some references if you have questions.